up, book lovers? It is G-Swizzel here, and I am here today with a spoiler-free review on The Things I Didn't Say by Kylie Fornasier. If you remember very clearly, a few weeks ago I went to this Penguin Teen Australia event called the YA Squad 2016, and Kylie was one of the authors there. I hauled this, and honestly I had the greatest time. However, I didn't expect this book to impact me so much. Here's a fun fact. I am not the biggest fan of contemporary. In fact, I will share some statistics with you. This is my standalone shelf, and a lot of them are contemporaries. I have around an average of 40 contemporaries. Out of all my 40 contemporaries, I have had only 3 contemporary books that have reached the 5 out of 5 star rating. Not even The Fault in Our Stars or Eleanor and Park has reached 5 out of 5 stars. They've reached 4.5, but they haven't reached 5 out of 5 stars. This book joins the pile, meaning that 10% of my contemporaries are 5 out of 5 stars. I wasn't expecting it to impact me as much, or maybe even more, than some of my favorite contemporaries. This book deals with our main protagonist. Her name is Piper. She deals with this mental illness known as selective mutism. Now, if you've not heard of selective mutism, it would make sense because it's never talked about in YA fiction. I never heard of selective mutism before I read this book. Selective mutism happens when you've experienced maybe a traumatic event, or maybe events that have happened in your past that has triggered you to the point where you're not able to speak in front of people that you cannot trust, or people that you are not too familiar with. You may think selective mutism has something to do with social anxiety. From reading this, I think that there are 2 separate things, and it's honestly nothing to do with the fact that she is socially anxious. She is literally going through the struggle of not being able to speak. Not even to the love interest that she learns how to trust and get close to within this book. Piper had an incident that happened at her previous school, and so she's decided to move schools for year 12, and this book takes place in the greater western suburbs of Sydney. Maybe it wasn't said in Parramatta, but there was one mention of Parramatta in here, and that is my hood. And I freaked out. I was like, oh my gosh, that's my hood, man! And there were places like Penrith and Wentworth Falls mentioned in this book, and I was just like, yes, I know what that is. The mentions of Westfield. It made the reading experience so much funner. There's so much more than just the setting that I really enjoyed. I really loved the story. This book really hits home for me. I myself do not have selective mutism. I actually have social anxiety. So when reading this, it wasn't difficult for me to register at all. Majority of the events that happened in this book, really, they were just very familiar to me. As much as this book was very fun to read and very heartbreaking at the same time, I would have to say that this book is a very important read. It's not just important, it's diverse. The writing is so beautiful, the pacing is perfect, and not only that, I appreciate the characters. What I really loved about the characters was that a lot of the people that were close to Piper didn't treat her like she was different, or they didn't feel sorry for her. A great example of that would be Piper's family. Piper's family don't treat her like she's sick or ill, they treat her like a normal person. Piper can speak to her family because she's close to them. Selective mutism doesn't necessarily mean that you can't speak at all. It doesn't even mean that you can select who you speak to. I think the term selective mutism doesn't do the mental illness that much justice. Even Piper acknowledges that. The first sentence of the synopsis, Piper says, "I hate the label selective mutism, as if I chose not to speak, like a kid who refuses to eat broccoli." It doesn't do the condition justice at all. Back to what I was saying about the characters, I really appreciated the bonding that she had with her family, particularly her sister Evie. I also enjoyed the love interest in here. West is one of my new favorite fictional boyfriends. I'm going to say it right now. I love West. I thought at first that he was this perfect fictional boyfriend, that he was patient, he was kind, he was generous, but you get to see how flawed he is as this story progresses, how impatient he can get, and you know, that's totally fine because he's just trying to discover Piper. He's trying to get to know Piper. He's so patient and so great with Piper, but not to the point that he's unrealistic. When I was reading him, I'm like, oh my goodness, he's gonna be the most unrealistic love interest ever. He's gonna be the tropey nice guy. He ended up being a lot more realistic than what I thought he would, and I really liked that a lot. So overall, I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars. I never think about what books are going to be on my top books that I have for 2016 or any other year before it's December. But I know that I'm instantly going to put this book on the list because this book made me fall in love and broke my heart into pieces and then glued it back together. That's literally how I felt. Go pick it up. Seriously. The reason why I'm doing a spoiler-free review is because I want to make sure that you read it for yourself. I didn't want you to click on this review and be afraid to know what the book is about. And I want you to experience the greatness that is within The Things I Didn't Say by Kylie Fornasier. If you want to see a bit more of a spoilery discussion, I did a direct message discussion with Julia at The Picnic Reader, so I will link her blog down in the description so you can check it out to see the things that we had to say about the things I didn't say. See what I did there? I am a genius. I am a freaking genius. That is gonna be it for this video today. Follow me in my social medias. I'm at G-Swizzel Books on Twitter and Instagram, and I'm also at Goodreads. That's www.goodreads.com/G-Swizzel. I love you, book lovers. I will see you soon. Peace.